Good evening, everybody. I'm going to start out right up front here. This occasion is a great one for a couple of reasons. It's a touching one for a couple of reasons. So, as you know from the programs, do you all have programs? We do have enough programs for everybody. If you didn't get a program, we'd love for you to have a program. The program includes all the words, all the songs that we're about to sing, all the song tips. So, but I'm sure you saw it on the cover. We feature the fact that we were in Cairo this summer, and for just such a tremendous occasion. So, actually, you guys had promised me, all you stagehand people had promised me that we'd have this big thing out here. Is that coming in? So let's do it now. What do you say? Is it possible? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? We have, if you look on the bottom right of the cover of the program, do you see that beautiful billboard that has our dancers there? You see this, as we approach the Cairo Opera House. Hello. As we approach the Cairo Opera House, we drove in with our bus, and there in front of us is a 10-foot tall picture of us in English and Arabic. This, I think it's on the bottom left, no, the bottom right picture. So we said to ourselves very quickly there, at the end of our last concert, we're going to stop the bus and walk away with the thing. And so we were quite ecstatic at the end of the fourth concert at the Cairo Opera House. And as we were driving away, a couple of people said, wait a second, there it is. And about 20 of us ran out of the bus, and we brought it. And then this week we tacked it up on wood, so now we have it as a, and we had agreed to have it right there against the wall during the whole concert. And maybe we could make this happen right now. But it was just a tremendous occasion, and a tremendous number of people helped us make this happen, and we thank you all. We thank you very, very much. We thank you. And as it says at the very bottom of the program, the four biggest of our concerts were at the Cairo Opera House itself. And the Cairo Opera House is the main performance hall in all of the country of Egypt. So it was really quite a big deal. And then the government asked us to do concerts in 3 other cities. We performed on the Suez Canal. There's a city called Ismailia. And we performed in 2 cities south of Cairo, one called Helwan, and one much further south in the city called Bani Suef. And outside you might see, but the governor of Bani Suef came to our program and sat in the front row with all these other officials. And at the end he came and gave us a plaque. So we have outside the plaque, it's on the table right in the foyer there, the plaque that the governor of Bani Suef gave us. So it was that sort of thing. When we went to the Suez region, we had the governor of Suez and the Sinai came and gave us awards there also. So it was a very, very touching, good experience. Really, as Sue said, I think a chance of a lifetime. So this was a wonderful thing. But so this is a chance for us to celebrate some of that. But the other thing that makes this event so touching is Alexandra King, who has led our ensemble's dance troupe since its inception in the early 1990s, has decided to retire. So Alexandra King is now our former director of our dance troupe. Okay, catch this, you guys. What do you think? Does it look familiar from that picture in your program here? So it's funny that, we think of first world and third world. What they did was they photoshopped a picture we had of the ensemble. Behind these 4 women was the whole orchestra in our picture. And the Egyptian government photoshopped all of the ensemble out of it and just has the 4 women. And then they put it on this leather type of material, which, if you tried to make this in Santa Barbara, I think it might not be possible. It's just too big. So I'm very impressed with the Egyptian government. It says in Arabic, the ensemble of the University of California of America for the arts of the Middle East, for Middle Eastern arts. And And we were so totally thrilled. And on the top it says, there are three emblems there. There's the emblem on the left, sort of the top, very top left is the Cairo Opera House emblem. The next you'll recognize is the US emblem. And then the ministry there, the Ministry of Culture for the Branch for Foreign Cultural Relations. So it was quite a project. Getting back to Alexandra. So it's really very, very touching. As I say, Alexandra was the founding director of our dance troupe. In the early 90s, she created this dance troupe. And I think it's clear, many of us who have known the ensemble this long, this is actually our 22nd year. We are just, with this concert, starting our 22nd year. Many of you who have known this ensemble for that long know that the dance troupe is more than 50% of the ensemble. You know, if we did not have a dance troupe, I think we would have had much lesser response from the audience on an ongoing basis. I think the dance troupe is 51% of the ensemble. Or probably, realistically, 79% of the ensemble. I really think, the sophistication with which the dancers have approached music from throughout the Middle East, be they folkloric dances from Egypt, or classical dances from Iran, folk dances, folkloric dances, just a huge variety of dances. And I'd like to call out here Alexandra King. So we got together and we have a gift for Alexandra King. And so it's here, it's money.
I said I wanted a husband.
Okay, can we work on this? Anyone here? So I can't tell you, part of the situation of Alexandra very graciously leading the ensemble so long is how poorly we were able to pay her throughout these years. And it was really, it's somewhat of an embarrassing situation, but it was always the reality of the ensemble, that the ensemble earns 95% of its expenses. It earns it by performances. And so we do performances throughout California and in different places. So sometimes we just did a performance at Cal State Fresno for an academic conference, and they paid us $2,000. This type of thing. So we can earn money here and there, but it's always a little bit tough. So we wanted to recognize this fact by giving Alex a hunk of money here. But I just want to say that. But I just want to recognize the different parts of what Alex has done to us. First of all, she's been the lead dancer of our dance troupe for all these years. So here are our lead dancer. If I get a round of applause. And one of the things that makes our ensemble so unique is that she is our lead choreographer. Our lead choreographer, Alexandra. And I think a lot of troupes in America, it would be very easy just to be an oriental dance troupe or a belly dance troupe. And the fact that we're able to do folkloric and classical dances from throughout the Middle East speaks to Alexandra's sophistication as a dancer and a dance teacher. So our lead choreographer, Alexandra King. I'm only going to do two more. So then also she, of course, was the dance teacher for the ensemble for all these years. So this involved the rehearsals where the dancers would meet by themselves. But then as our concerts drew near, then we would have 4 or 5 rehearsals with the dancers, as we do still every quarter. So she was the dance teacher leading all the rehearsals, both where the dancers learned the choreographies, but then where we sort of finalized and put the choreographies together with the music ensemble. So please recognize Alexandra as our dance teacher all these years. Yeah, and there's one more, and it's surprising that it goes on, but she has been in charge of our costumes. And normally, if this were a ballet troupe, for example, the ballet troupe in New York, of course, these would be 4 different people, or 5 different people, or 7 or 8 different people. But Alexandra was completely in charge of our costumes, designing new costumes, and just making all of our costumes happen. And you have to know, if you've seen us, that costumes are a major, major part of our dance troupe. So I'd like to thank Alexandra as the in charge of our costuming. Okay, so here it is here. Do we have a camera ready for this? She's asking for the microphone, but I don't want to give it up. Okay, and so to make this occasion a very special one, we asked her to do 2 things for this very concert. First, we asked her to dance the finale. So the finale of tonight's concert will be Alexandra. And we also asked her to choreograph a piece for us. And so our dance troupe will be doing a new piece. You'll be surprised by this piece. It's a genre of dance in Egypt that we have never as a group done. It's called Malaya Lef. It's a dance, you'll see it coming up. I'll describe it later. But it's a genre of dance from Egypt called Malaya Lef. And we never as a group have ever done this. And this was something Alexandra had always wanted to do. So we thought this would be a great occasion, that sort of a dual celebration of all that she has done for us. So there's the end of my speech. Here's Alexandra King. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, everybody, and thank you, fellow members. I just wanted to say, I know you're dying for the show to start. Some people are blessed with good homes, good jobs, good partners, great children. I've been blessed with great dance opportunities and great dance associates, and of course, this has to be the best. Meeting Scott in 1989, just as the new kid on the block, I thought he was just a nice guy, and I never knew that it would blossom into this long 20-year career, and that I would have the opportunity over the years to learn as much as I have by having this opportunity. And really, it's been a learning experience for me. The ability to research the culture and the dance and the music and the costuming, and to be able to immediately give back what I've learned is so special. I don't know, I'm the one that should be giving away money and thanking him, I think. And so thank you very much, Scott and Ensemble and UCSB and everybody for having me. And I would like to say, if I may, one of the other things that I've been blessed with, and I think this is very, very unusual and uncommon, and that is that I've had a dancer come into my troupe who was not only an extraordinary artist, talented, but a brilliant choreographer and researcher and an administrator. Just on everything that I've had to do, this person has had to do. And I was never as good as she is. And my teacher used to say, make sure your students surpass you in every way. That means you've done your job well. And certainly this lady has surpassed me in every single way. You know who she is, and you've seen her dance, and she's now she's been my protege, and she's now taking my job. I would like to introduce the new dance director, Chris Basima. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you later.
Okay, so sitting here now, I have a different voice, and I'd like to introduce the first set. The first set of music we're going to play is art music from the Eastern Arab world, and it's 5 songs and 4 improvisations, all set in the same maqam. or the same scale called Makam Rust. So my students in my world music class, we looked at this briefly. This is a mode in which the third note is a non-Western note. It's a half flat. And so this whole set will have this very scale. So this is the way traditionally that Arab music was performed, that you gather together pieces in the same scale and go from piece to piece, all united by the scale or aspect called maqam. So we would like to do this. We start off with a brief instrumental introduction called the dulab. Then you'll see this in the program. Then we go to something called the samar. Do you folks have enough light to read the program while we're performing? Yeah? Right on. And okay, before I go any further, Ensemble is signaling to me that we'd like to welcome Sue Rudnicki as the director of our percussion section. Sue Rudnicki. Ensemble, thank you very much. This is Sue again. Sue Rudnicki, the director of our percussion section. Also, since the ensemble's inception, so this is the 22nd year that Sue has been leading the percussion section. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome our Arabic language teacher, Professor Magda Campo. And also I'll take this opportunity to welcome again and again and again the oldest member of our ensemble, Ihsan Said. Ihsan has been with us since the very beginning of the ensemble, and last year he celebrated his 80th birthday, and it's been a joy to celebrate with him. So we're going to start with this instrumental piece. We're going to go to a piece called the Samai. A Samai is a piece in a 10-beat rhythm. You'll hear a 10-beat rhythm happen. Maybe, Sue, could you show us this 10-beat rhythm here? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's a 10-beat rhythm. Then we're going to do a song. Then we're going to do something called a takhmila. A takhmila is an orchestral piece, and it's an ensemble piece in which people take solos in the middle of the piece. And so the first solo will be by Phil. Phil, could you raise your hand? Phil will be the first solo. Matt will be the second solo. Lily is the third solo. Nan is the fourth solo. And Richard, the fifth solo. So this is the fourth piece called the takhmila. Again, a takhmila is a group piece in which you have solos in the middle. And then we'll end with a song. Interestingly, the song was included in a songbook from 1840. So we know the song goes back at least that long. We feel confident that it's a song at least from the 1700s, the 18th century. And of these two songs, please notice that the words are all in our program book. So please welcome the ensemble as we play a wasla, a group of pieces in Maqam Rust. Here we go. Thank you very much. Okay. So in this, we're going to have 4 takasim solos. Jason is going to do the first solo, and Matt's going to do the second, and then Brandon is going to do the third, and Ethan is going to do the fourth. So this is a long set with a lot of things happening. Hope you enjoy it. What do you think? I think we're good. I think we caught a groove there. I think that was a great set. Yo, let's thank all of our soloists. Can you raise your hand here? Soloists. We're going to do the first of many dances right now. Are our dancers ready? Yes. Yeah. So this is actually a tune I came across when I was doing field work in ethnomusicology in Cairo. Specifically, I had gone to study this instrument called the mizmar. The mizmar is an instrument which Richard is playing here. So the mizmar is an instrument. It's an instrument of folk music generally. But folk musicians often play the music that art musicians are playing, and so the whole sort of division between folk music and art music falls apart. But then there was a new category of really popular music that came on with all the mass media. And there was an idea that maybe some of the popular music could include the mizmar, even though the mizmar really wasn't ever used in that context. And so actually to do this, they needed a mizmar of a new size. They needed a mizmar that would play to the same type of notes that this type of ensemble, an orchestra, was playing. So they actually had to invent a new sized mizmar for this. And they did this, and this was probably in the 60s and 70s. But one of the very first songs that they did where they brought this, a very famous mizmar player from north of Cairo, this is the provinces of Qalyubia and Minufia. There was a very famous family of mizmar players. Their last names were Hindi. Their last names was Hindi. And so the whole entire family was called the Awlad Hindi, the sons of Hindi. And so they brought the most famous member of the Awlad Hindi into Cairo to record in a studio. And this was with the singer Muhammad Rushdie. So this was a very interesting moment where they sort of brought folk music in to the popular music studios and then put it in the middle of a popular music song. So the song sort of has a folk feel to it. It's interesting that a popular musician could call upon folk music to give his new songs a level of respectability, perhaps authenticity. So this is a very popular song for mizmar players. The song is Ya Laylat Magan El Ghali. And interestingly, what Muhammad Rushdie did with the song was he called probably Egypt's most famous colloquial poet. Egypt's most famous colloquial poet. And this is Abdul Rahman al-Abnudi. And he had the most famous colloquial poet write the song. And please check out the words. The words are actually quite beautiful. The idea is that this person is waiting for his beloved. He's in his apartment. He's waiting for his beloved. And he keeps thinking that there's a knock on the door and that it's his beloved. He keeps hearing this knock on the door, and he keeps rushing to the door, and it's not the beloved. In fact, there's no one there. He's just hearing it. But this time, in fact, the beloved has come. And so there's a knock on the door, and he just calls out. He doesn't get up. He doesn't even get up. He just calls through the door. Oh, hey, door, you're a liar. Door, you're a liar. I've run to you so many times. It's never been there. But then from the other side, the lover calls out, hey, I'm here, and I'm thirsting for you. This is an expression here. I'm thirsting after you here. So this I think is a very touching song. It's used it's just colloquial language, so it's not highfalutin language, and I think it's a very touching situation here. So one of Egypt's most famous colloquial poets bringing together one of Egypt's most famous mizmar players. The song Ya Laylat Magan El Ghali, and our mizmar player, Richard Johnson. out this is a brand new choreography by the new director of the ensemble, Chris. A brand new choreography. Chris. I'd like to introduce the woman sitting next to me here, almost a doctor, in our graduate program, a doctorate student in our graduate program, Lily Gordon.
Thank you very much. We did lots of recognizing before this concert started, but we didn't recognize the person who brought us to Egypt and who has been organizing this group for all of these years. So will you please give an even larger round of applause for Dr. Scott Marcus. So the next song we're going to perform for you is called Epideli Sar, which means this is what has become, basically. It's a song by the so-called father of modern Egyptian song. His name was Sayyid Darwish. Sayyid Darwish lived around the turn of the 20th century and composed many, many songs for many different venues. He was very famous as a theater composer, but for musical theater. Composed a lot of songs about sort of just everyday life in Cairo. Sorry for my microphone, it's not a vocal mic right now. And also composed many nationalistic songs. So this was the period, he lived during the period of British occupation in Egypt. And also subsequently the monarchy, so thank you, okay. So he wrote many political songs, many nationalistic songs. This is just as the Egyptian nationalist movement was really building up. And many Egyptians say that before this period, Egyptians hadn't ruled Egypt since pharaonic times, since before the ancient Greeks. So this was a very big movement in Egypt. So this song is asking people in Egypt to work together for good causes, rather than placing blame on other people. If you look at the words, there's a lot of what we say is, don't blame me, you have no right to blame me, this line. And the way we've organized the song has something to do with the words also. Giselle has very kindly agreed to sing the song, so we'll welcome Giselle in a second. And the chorus is going to sing the last verse, and I did this on purpose because the last verse really sings about linking hands together and unifying for good causes. So I'm very pleased in this ensemble that we do a wide variety of songs, children's songs, religious songs, love songs, all kinds of different songs. So here is an Egyptian nationalist song. Please welcome Giselle.
Thank
So we'd like to bring out now, this will take a moment of setup. We'd like to bring out now Dr. Bahram Osquizadeh, who is going to lead us in a set of Persian music. Bahram. While we're doing this, let me take a chance, the opportunity to say, some of you might recognize the backdrop behind us. This is a backdrop we used for about 10 years in the ensemble, and it was brought to us from Cairo by Professors Juan and Megda Campo. This was in the middle of the 1990s. So this is a backdrop that was made in Cairo, and we haven't used it in a good while. And so we wanted to use it again. So what we've decided to do is actually use this backdrop for the first half of the concert. And the second half of the concert, we're going to do a second backdrop, which was brought to us by Kurosh Hakikat Kish, Kurosh here. And so the second backdrop is a Persian backdrop. So they're both quite stunning, each in a very, very different way. And we thought we should bring out this backdrop that we hadn't used in a good while. So we thank over and over, we thank Juan Campo and Megda Campo for this great gift to the ensemble from way back in the 90s. Please welcome Bahram, Dr. Bahram Osquizadeh.
Hello everyone, welcome to the first concert of this year. I wanted to thank Dr. Scott Marcus for giving us this opportunity to perform a variety of musics from the Middle East, from Arab world, the Turkish world, and even Persian world. We're going to play 3 pieces, and all of these pieces are, they have something in common, but they are very far apart from each other in terms of the place they were originated. The first piece, actually I'm going to start with a solo. Prepare for the Alvaz Dashti, which all the 3 pieces are in. And then the first piece is going to be a piece from Herat, which is now in Afghanistan. Then, after that, a piece in the same Maye, in the same Alvaz, which is Dashti, is going to be played, that is from north of Iran, Gilan. These 2 places are very much apart from each other, but you will see how close in terms of music they are together. And the last piece is a traditional piece that is composed fairly newly, recently, I would say about 50 years ago. It was a study for the violin players, and then it was adopted for different instrument, but because it was pretty, it was a pretty piece. Everybody played it with a different touch. So I took a liberty and arranged it for the ensemble, and we're going to play a different version tonight. So all the three pieces are in Avaz Dashti, which is one of the auxiliary dastgahs of Persian music, and they are from different places in terms of the big Persianate world. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
We are going to close the first half with a Lebanese dance. This is a dance that we talked about in my world music class. There's a dance called Debka, a Lebanese dance called Debka. And this dance has been going on for ages, but interestingly, there are new compositions, new song compositions that are coming out that become really hot items in the Debka circuit, in the wedding circuit. And this one came out about 5 or 6 years ago. And now, if you are going to a Lebanese wedding where dancing Debka is obligatory, you have to dance Debka at weddings. This song has become really a required piece. So everyone who plays for Lebanese weddings has learned this piece. The piece is amazing for a number of reasons, but one of the most amazing reasons is the racy lyrics. And please check out the lyrics. The lyrics are about a girl who continually shortens her skirt. She's so continually pulling up her skirt, rolling it up. And by doing this, she's making this great commotion. And she's got completely everyone's attention. And they say all the old men that look at her, they feel young when they see her. And all the old women, when they look at her, they too feel young. They talk about the waves in the ocean just being so overwhelmed with her. And one of the lines that I like the best is, "It's sure hot. We could blame it on the fact that it's August, but I think it's because of her skirt." So this is a beloved song. And for some reason, even in the most conservative of communities, this song is a hot song. So our dancers have done a choreography for this. So this is a second choreography that Chris has done for us. So please welcome our dancers, and please give Chris a huge round of applause for this composition. And after this, we're going to take intermission. So as is our norm, we have refreshments outside, and we have a DVD that we have of our music. We have CDs of our music. There was something back then called CDs, this old idiom. And I believe we also have other paraphernalia. I'm not sure exactly what. Okay, CD. Okay, so please, refreshments and all. We'd love to see you after about a 15-minute intermission. So we're going to close the first half with a dance. The translation of the name is just the skirt. In Arabic, Itannora. Itannora. Please welcome our dancers and the director of our dance troupe and the choreographer, Chris. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming back. We'd like to start with two Armenian dances. So one of the, maybe the equivalent of the debka in Armenian culture is the Tamzara dance. So we'd like to start with the Tamzara dance and go to another dance called Pampuri. These choreographies were taught to us by a very, very famous gentleman in the Armenian community, a dance scholar and a dance choreographer, Tom Bozigian. So these are choreographies by the composer, the choreographer, the dancer, the musician, Tom Bozigian. Please welcome our dancers here. Please welcome again Lily Gordon.
Hello, welcome everybody. So we'd like to present a song for you now that was made famous by the Egyptian singer Shedia. Shedia was born in 1934 or thereabouts and became popular in the 50s, 60s, 70s and starred in many, many Egyptian films. So I think I wrote in the program over 30 films, but she's very known and still very known to this day because old films are played often on Egyptian television. One interesting thing about Shedia is that later in her life, in the beginning she was a film star, right, and somewhat of a sex symbol, kind of a young film star and very beautiful. Later in her life, she took on the veil, she took on the hijab, and this became a trend among some singing stars and some film stars to later on decide they wanted to become more religious. So Shedia has been kind of the spokesperson for this kind of idea, so that's sort of interesting. This song, as will be made clear by the words, when you look at the words, is from the pre-veil period. The title of the song is To the Love Nest. So let me set the scene for you. In the movie, she's with her fiancé in the car, and most of the entire song is them driving along on a nice day in their car, being in love together. So we hope you enjoy this song. Thank you very much.
No
we are now going to do a short set of 2 songs. These are Turkish folk songs. So many of us are switching over. We have in the ensemble, we have a special sub-ensemble where we play this instrument. Can everyone hold up your instruments here? This is called, in English, people often call these instruments saz, S-A-Z, saz. In fact, they're a specific type of saz. These are bağlama sazes, bağlama. And we have one here. Jason is playing a very small version called the jora saz. So we have one jora and a whole bunch of bağlamas and variations on the theme. So these are, let me say that in Turkey, this instrument became a very, very important instrument of modern Turkish culture. As you might know, the idea when nation states sort of create themselves and sort of ponder, imagine what it would be, what it is to be a new nation. Often countries pick one music over another or one instrument over another and say, oh, this is really the heart of our country here. And in modern day Turkey, especially from the 20s, the new nation state of Turkey, which arose out of the Ottoman Empire, decided that it was the saz that was the real instrument of the people. And so they started pushing the saz throughout the country. They had these things called houses of culture in which they gave people lessons. They started teaching saz in schools. So this instrument really became a huge part of Turkish culture. And so now just sort of, I don't know if you have a sense, when I was living in the 60s and 70s, sort of everyone in America played guitar. Whether you could play it a lot or a little, but everyone played it, everyone could strum chords and play 6, 7 songs or 8 or 10 songs. In this way, in Turkey, it's really common for people to be able to play the saz, the bağlama saz, to whatever degree possible. And there are actually festivals. We've had, some of our friends have gone to Turkey and been part of festivals where they tried to get together literally 1,000 saz players at the same time. And they have this huge saz festival and they all play together. So here we are here with our saz ensemble. So as part of our group, we have an ongoing saz ensemble. And over the years, we've had many teachers come and give us introductory lessons and then more advanced lessons. So this is just, we're doing here 2 songs, 2 Turkish folk songs. I hope you enjoy this. So again, we're featuring this instrument called saz or bağlama saz, and a smaller version called a jora saz, Turkish folk music. As soon as our dancers are ready, we're going to move to a next item, which is the dance that Alexandra King choreographed for us. I had mentioned that this is a new genre of dance for us. It's of course a long-standing dance, specifically in Egypt. And the dance is called, the genre is called Malaya Lef. Malaya Lef. Malaya is a black cloth that women would wear to cover themselves, especially when you're going out. So women might wear brightly colored things inside the house, but as they're leaving the house, they'll put on their malaya, a black cloth. And in this, when it became a dance form, people would ornament this black cloth, so it was no longer a simple people's cloth, but more a costume. And then, as part of this genre of dance, women would wear a very old style of veil. This is an old style that no longer exists in the present day. This is from the 30s and back. It's a form of veil where the women would wear a cloth here that would hang down actually well below their face here, well below the neck even. So we see this veil in a lot of old pictures and photographs from the 30s and back. And then the dances, these women who come out in this traditional veil, they basically get sassy and they start flirting with people on the street. And one of the things that commonly happens, they flirt in the dance. They flirt with a street vendor, and the two start flirting with each other. So this is actually a group choreography within this specific genre. Again, a genre called Malaya Lef. And I think our dancers not being ready, we're going to vamp and see what happens next here. We just have to take a couple of minutes until our dancers are ready. Okay, what do we got? Let me take this moment to thank all the people involved in our printed program. this printed program, it happens every single concert. It's a marvel for all the work it takes that goes into this. This first, the cover, we'd like to thank Sue Rudnicki and her husband, Dana, for making this cover happen. What a beautiful cover. And we'd like to thank Nan and Professor Magda for all their work in putting the song text together here. This is such a huge project, putting together all these song texts. And then we'd like to thank Ensemble for his help with the Turkish words. We'd like to thank Dr. Bakram for his work with the Persian words here. So I hope you noticed that we have the words in their original script and then transliterated and translated. It's quite a beautiful project. I'm continually impressed. I'm impressed by how much work it is, but then I'm continually impressed by how beautiful the product is. So we thank Nan, we thank Magda, we thank Sue and Dana for all the hours and hours and hours that get put into this program. I think it's a collectible item here. At some point, we're going to make a copy of 20 years of our programs and sell them to people. As a raffle ticket type of thing. I'm totally impressed with these. And these beautiful pictures here. How do you like this picture of us at the pyramids? Isn't this cute? And our dancers are ready. But you can't see, and the one in the bottom right here, this is, you don't know what fun that was to jump out of the bus and tear down this poster from the wooding that I had there. I have to tell you, one of the parts of this was the security guards at the Opera House. They started calling into their bosses and like, should we stop these people or what? And I guess they got back the word that, oh no, look, their concerts are over, let them take it. Because these people having called on their walkie-talkies into their bosses, they then proceeded to smile at us. But it fit nicely in a suitcase, and then we just this week, we put it up on this wooden scaffolding. One of our souvenirs. Okay, so we'd like to welcome our dancers here, and a very specific choreography, a very unusual choreography for us. You'll see these women come out in what I think we should call very, very dated costume. And then if you'll allow my words here, they'll get sassy. Okay, here they are. This starts with an accordion intro. Here we go. So I personally feel somewhat of a need to put in an Kulthum song in a concert here. So we were wondering which Kulthum song to do, and we decided to just do the opening portion of the song Lissa Fakir. Lissa Fakir. So for those of you who don't know, Kulthum was by far the most famous Arab singer of the 20th century. Just a huge, huge figure. She had a huge career starting in the 1920s. By the late 20s, it was declared by all the journalists that she was the premier singer of Cairo, anyway, of Egypt. And then as various media came forward, as films came through, she was a film star. As radio came in, she was this amazing radio star. As records came in, as TV came in, she was the star. One of the things that happened with radio is they gave her a concert the first Thursday of every month. First Thursday of every month, the Thursday evening, which you might know in the Arab world, Thursday night is like our Friday at the end of the week. So the Thursday night concert was an Kulthum concert, and the first Thursday of the month, the streets just were totally dead. And people tell me they were totally dead all the way from Morocco, all the way from in Israel, in Lebanon, in Syria, let alone her home country of Egypt. So just throughout the Arab world. So I think many of us have a great love for Kulthum songs, and we'd like to play you just the first portion of a song called Lissa Fakir. Lissa Fakir. Next, we'd like to do a new type of music for us. This is a Tunisian art song. This will be actually the first time that we're doing art music from Tunisia. And we're focusing on the singer Saliha. Saliha was this tremendous superstar. You'll notice the postage stamp that we put in the program there. We actually put in the program a picture, a black and white picture of a color postage stamp that the Republic of Tunisia put out with her photo. I think it's a very touching statement of how important she was to Tunisian culture. There's a sense that in Tunisian art music there are dozens and dozens and dozens of great singers, but many would call her the premier singer of Tunisian art music. She was flourished, she performed in the 30s and 40s and to the 50s, dying rather young in 1958. So we'd like to present a beautiful song by Saliha. Interestingly, the words are completely dialectic from a Tunisian dialect, and specifically a rural Tunisian dialect. I had a chance when I was in Tunisia to ask people about this, the words of the song, and time after time people in the city said, oh, this is a rural dialect. We have to find people who are actually from the villages. And so it was very interesting to see that. Rhythmically, this is also, it's a rhythm that is really particular to Egypt, to Tunisia. We, playing music from Egypt and Syria and Lebanon, have never played this rhythm before. So this is a distinctly Tunisian rhythm. Please welcome for this Melanie Hutton. We are very, very pleased to feature Melanie Hutton. And in this we have a short nai solo by my son, Ari Marcus. Ari Marcus.
Take the next one.
So here we are, we're now to the point of our final item. This is the dance solo that Alexandra King is going to give to us. Before I do this, I just want to thank all the people who advertised in our program. I must say this is it's a complex thing to try to keep an ensemble like this going, and people who advertise in the program are helping us. They're helping us do what we do. So I would please ask you to consider patronizing these folks. I thank them all very much for their support. And if any of you in the future are able to buy an ad in our program and try to make these things happen, the program itself is quite a large expense. So we thank our advertisers very, very much. Please look a minute and see who these folks are, and we offer them our thanks. So we want to thank Phoebe Mansour for her work on the program. She is the one who creates our programs at Copyright Printing. And we thank Phoebe for doing this for years and years and years. Phoebe Mansour, we thank you very much at Copyright Printing. I should say we have a support group called FOMEMA, Friends of Middle Eastern Music. And we'd love for you to be a member. We have the sign-up form in the program. Please consider becoming a member. We thank all of our members. We thank you for your ongoing support. We have a board that meets monthly, and we thank the board members for their ongoing support in directing and leading this ensemble. You can imagine it's quite a project. And we thank you all very, very, very much for coming. I'll say now that we know the next date of our concert. It's March. It's in the program. I did not. Can anyone see in the program what date our next concert is? In March something. March 6th? 5th. Do I hear 5th? 5th? Yes, so please consider coming out again. We'd love to have you come out March 5th for a totally new program. Okay, so here we have Alexandra King. We want to thank her for all of her years, and we hope we continue to work with her in many different ways. But here, celebrating all her work as a solo dancer with the ensemble, as our lead dancer, please welcome Alexandra King. We have something unusual here. We have an electric oud. Okay, we don't have a dancer. Let us find our dancer. I'm sorry, this is totally my fault. Surely I'm supposed to find out whether the dancer's ready before we start the piece. Okay, yeah. Here's a nice solo to start this piece. Here's a two. As is our tradition, we want to go around the stage here and thank everyone, starting with our oud players. Our oud players. And Summon on tar. Our tar player. Our accordion, George on accordion. Nan on clarinet. Our tremendous violinists, violin. Our very happening nine section. Kuros on Santor. Our double bass, Miles J on double bass. We are very, very happy to have Miles back after a long time. Miles J. Miles is having a very happening career. He just performed in Doha, in the Persian Gulf. He just performed in Oman, in the Persian Gulf. And in a couple of weeks, he's going to Algeria to perform again. Miles J. We want to thank our Rick players, our tambourine players. We want to thank Shirley Force for leading our tambourine section and for being the percussionist for all of our chorus rehearsals. Shirley Force. We want to thank our very, very happening frame drummers. Our frame drummers. I think we have the best frame drummers this side of the Nile River here. We want to thank the rest of our drum section. We want to thank our chorus people here, our chorus people here, our chorus people, our chorus people, our chorus people. We want to thank the leader of our drum section, Sue Redmond. We want to thank all the people who did solos, starting with Phil on guitar, his guitar solos. Matt for all his oud solos. Jason Gabriel for his oud solos. George for his accordion spots. George. Lily for her tremendous violin solos. Richard for his mizmar solos. We want to thank our nai solos. Brandon for his nai solo. Ethan for his nai solo. And my son Ari for his very first nai solo. We want to thank our saz players. Our saz players. Can you raise your hands, our saz players? I want to thank our solo vocalist, Giselle. And Melanie Hutton. Beautiful. Whoa. Lily Gordon for her vocal solo. Lily Gordon for her vocal solo. I want to thank Sue. I tell you can't thank Sue enough for all that she did to get this concert happening. Of the drum section, I think it was some of the most complex stuff we've done, and all the different drum solos, the drum groups, the compositions here. Sue Rednicki. I want to thank our very special teacher of Persian music, Bahram, Dr. Bahram Oskuzadeh. Bahram, are you here? Bahram, we want you up here. Bahram, are you here? Dr. Bahram Oskuzadeh. We want to thank our dancers, our ensemble dancers. Ellen, Honey, our newest dancer, Honey. Beautiful. Jennifer. Beautiful. Shannon. Oh. Cap. Kat. And the new director of our dance troupe and our choreographer, Chris. Chris. And the longtime director of our troupe, our dance teacher, our lead dancer, our choreographer, in charge of costuming and all, Alexandra King. Alexandra King. Hello, Alexandra King.
And we want to thank our director bringing us all together and bringing you here tonight, Dr. Scott Marcus.